Victor says yes. On the island of Sodor, the engines like to puff and huff their hardest. Sometimes they huff too hard. Their pistons pop. Their traction rods rattle. And then they must go to the steamworks to be fixed. Victor liked fixing engines, and he liked being busy. And today was a very busy day at the steamworks. Cars and engines were everywhere.
Hurry up with those valves. We don't have all day, you know.
Percy was waiting to be painted.
I'd like to be gleaming and green, please, Victor.
And Edward had to be fixed.
My broken boiler is bothering me, Victor.
Victor clickety-clacked along the tracks from one engine to another.
I know, my friends. You all need to be fixed. And you all want to be fixed right away. But I only have one set of wheels, you know.
Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived on Gordon. Gordon spluttered and stuttered as he steamed.
Victor, Gordon's valves are blocked. They must be cleaned as soon as possible. The children are going on a boat trip. Gordon must be ready to take them to the docks at tea time.
Victor was worried. There was no room for Gordon in the steamworks, and the workmen were all busy. But Victor didn't want to upset Sir Topham Hatt.
Of course, sir. I will have Gordon puffing perfectly in no time.
That made Sir Topham Hatt very happy.
Well done, Victor. I'm pleased to see that you are a really useful engine. Really useful engines do their best, and they are the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thomas chuffed cheerfully up to his friend.
Oh my, Victor. Sir Topham Hatt is very pleased with you.
Victor puffed with pride.
Thank you, Thomas, my friend. Now, what can I do for you?
I have a loose footplate.
Victor knew he had too much to do. He knew he didn't have time to fix Thomas's footplate, but he wanted to be the best. He wanted to be a really useful engine.
Come on in, my friend. I'll fix your footplate. Gordon, chuff back to let Thomas in. Come on, move over, everyone, please.
What about my blocked valves?
And my broken boiler.
And my gleaming green paint.
And our valves?
We were here first.
Sorry, boss. It's a slip of the hook.
Victor huffed and heaved.
All in good time, my friends. Fix Thomas's footplate, please.
Then Emily steamed in. She had to collect an important visitor from Brendam Docks.
Emily, my friend. Hello. What can I do for you?
My buffers need a perfect polish.
Victor knew he had too much to do. He knew he didn't have time to polish Emily's buffers. But he wanted to be the best. He wanted to be a really useful engine.
Come along in, Emily, my friend. I will have your buffers polished perfectly.
Emily wheezed and squeezed in front of Gordon.
What about my blocked valves?
My broken boiler.
My gleaming green paint.
My footplate.
Our valves?
We were here first.
Sorry, boss. Slip of the hook.
Fizzling fireboxes. Give Emily some room. Puff back. Puff back, please.
What about my blocked valves?
Then there was trouble. Black smoke and soot shot from Gordon's valves, all over Sir Topham Hatt, who had just arrived in his bright blue car. Suddenly, Sir Topham Hatt's car wasn't bright blue anymore. It was black and sooty. Victor gasped.
Fizzling fireboxes.
Oh, the indignity!
Heaving hooks. Was that meant to happen, boss?
No, it was not.
Sir Topham Hatt was cross.
What are you doing, Victor? My car is ruined, and Gordon isn't fixed and ready to take the children to the docks. I thought you were really useful.
Victor felt terrible.
I'm sorry, sir. This is a disaster, and it's all my fault. I wanted to show you that I really am the best, that I am really useful. So I tried to do everything, and I ended up doing nothing.
Can I help, boss?
No, thank you, Kevin. Now I must do something.
Victor steamed sadly to Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir, if you will let me, I can have Gordon ready in time. Your car will be bright blue again, all the engines will be fixed, and I will be really useful again.
Sir Topham Hatt could see Victor was sorry.
Very well, Victor, but you'd better hurry.
Victor smiled.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Please, my friends, I have been silly. Now I ask you to help me. I can fix all of you, but I cannot fix all of you at the same time. Some of you will have to wait.
The engines hooted and tooted.
We'll all help you, Victor. Standing by, boss.
Victor smiled at his friends.
Thank you. First of all, Gordon's valves must be cleaned.
What about my buffers?
Emily, my friend, your buffers are going to be beautiful for your visitor. Tomorrow, I will have them polished perfectly, but not today.
What about my broken boiler?
Victor smiled kindly at Edward.
Your boiler will be bubbling soon. Please wait.
Then Percy puffed up.
I really want to be gleaming green.
Victor chuckled.
I know you do, Percy. And you will be the greenest green there is. But maybe not today. Wait, please, with your friend Edward.
Harry and Bert creaked crossly.
We were here first!
I know you were, my friends. I have not forgotten you. After Gordon, it will be your turn.
This made Harry and Bert very happy. Then Victor chuffed to Thomas.
And your footplate, Thomas, my friend. I was silly to say I could fix it today.
Don't worry, Victor. I can easily come back tomorrow.
Thank you, Thomas.
Kevin trundled up.
Good work, boss.
Later, Victor looked happily around the steamworks. Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived.
Sir, Gordon's valves are cleaned and his funnel is steaming.
Well done, Victor. I see you are once more a really useful engine.
That made Victor very happy.
Thank you, sir.
Boss, do you think I'm really useful?
Victor smiled.
Yes, you are, my friend. We are really useful together.
Jumping Jobi Wood. One of the most special places on the island of Sodor is the Sodor Search and Rescue Center. Here, Captain chugs, Rocky rolls, and Harold hovers. One morning, Sir Topham Hatt arrived at the rescue center.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Thomas. I have an important announcement.
The engines hushed and huffed.
The mayor would like some Jobi wood to build a summer house. He wants the work to start straight away.
Thomas's boiler bubbled brightly. This meant a trip to Misty Island. Thomas liked Misty Island.
Please, sir, may I go to Misty Island to fetch the Jobi wood?
Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand rocked and rolled.
Please, please, can we go too?
We know just what to do.
That's right, boss. Boss?
Sir Topham Hatt.
Sir Topham Hatt.
That's right. I would like you three logging locos to stay here on Sodor to learn the ways of my railway. Thomas, you and Edward will go to Misty Island to pick up the Jobi wood. You must leave straight away.
Thomas puffed proudly.
We'll take the tunnel, Edward.
The logging locos spluttered and stuttered.
You'll need our help. Old Wheezy can be wild, and Hee-Haw is just plain crazy.
That's right.
Thomas was stern.
No, thank you. Edward and I won't need your help. Old Wheezy and Hee-Haw won't be any trouble to us. We'll show them how to be really useful.
So Thomas and Edward clickety-clacked down the Misty Island tunnel. With a huff and a puff and a whoosh of their wheels, they puffed onto Misty Island. Then they raced and they rolled all the way to the Misty Island logging station. Thomas was excited. The Jobi wood gleamed and glowed in the sunshine. Edward's firebox fizzed and fluttered.
Oh my! This is a very strange place.
Thomas chuckled cheerfully.
Don't worry, Edward. When I first chuffed here, I thought Misty Island was strange too. But now, I just think it's special. I'll show you around.
Edward's wheels wobbled.
Very well, Thomas. After you.
So Thomas puffed proudly on.
This is the zipline bridge. And this is the sawmill. It's very noisy. This is the logging pond. It's loaded with logs. And those two are Old Wheezy and Hee-Haw. They're log loaders.
Edward was puzzled.
They're what?
They're log loaders. They load logs. And they're crazy.
Edward trembled on the tracks.
Oh, my.
Then Thomas puffed perkily towards the Shake Shake Bridge.
And this is the Shake Shake Bridge. We have to cross this, Edward, to pick up the Jobi logs.
Edward gasped.
Don't worry, it's just a bit wobbly.
So Edward wheezed and wheeshed onto the Shake Shake Bridge. The bridge wobbled and wibbled with every wheel turn.
Bust my buffers!
Then Edward stopped. He was scared. Just then, Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand rattled in.
We thought you might need help, and it looks like you do.
That's right.
No, thank you. We don't need your help. We can do it alone. We'll push the log safely to Sodor and home.
If you say so.
And Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand rolled away. Then Thomas clickety-clacked along the track to Old Wheezy.
I'll have these logs loaded in no time.
Old Wheezy wheeshed and wheezed. He jiggled and joggled. He puffed and popped into action. Edward was worried.
Oh, dear.
Don't worry, Edward. You must be firm.
Suddenly, Old Wheezy grabbed and groaned and whirled and hurled logs everywhere. Logs bounced off Edward
Blistering boilers!
and flew past Thomas.
Cinders and ashes!
Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand clacked back.
Jumping Jobi! It looks like you need our help now!
That's right.
No, thank you. We don't need your help. We can do it alone. We'll push the log safely to Sodor and home.
If you say so.
And Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand rattled away. Thomas huffed to Hee-Haw.
I know Hee-Haw will help us.
But Hee-Haw had run out of oil. It spluttered and stuttered. Thick, black smoke all over James and Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt was cross.
Thomas, what is going on? The mayor is waiting for the Jobi wood. Edward is swinging on a bridge. Logs are jumping like frogs. And my shiny red coat is ruined.
Thomas felt terrible.
I'm sorry, sir. This is all my fault. I thought I didn't need help, but I do. And I know exactly who I need to help me. I'll fetch them now.
Thomas, Bash, Dash, and Ferdinand clattered and chattered down the tunnel, all the way to the logging station.
I was silly to think I could do this alone. I need your help.
Looks like you do.
So we're here to give it,
Do as we say.
and we'll show you the way.
That's right.
So Thomas let the logging locos help him.
Shake, shake, make me quake. Make me quake until I shake.
Edward was so surprised, he wibbled and wobbled straight off the Shake Shake Bridge. Then the logging locos showed Edward and Thomas how to catch Jobi logs as they jumped through the air and bumped onto their flatbeds. Finally, Dash's driver filled Hee-Haw with oil. Now it could rumble and tumble logs to the cars. At last, the Jobi logs were loaded. Thomas led the engines all the way back to Sodor and to the waiting Sir Topham Hatt.
You are all really useful engines. Together, you are a team to be proud of.
That's right.
Pingy, Pongy, pickup. It was an exciting day on the island of Sodor. It was the opening game for the Sodor United soccer team. All the engines huffed and puffed to be ready on time. Sir Topham Hatt arrived at Tidmouth Sheds.
Today is a very busy day. One engine must take the Sodor United team to the soccer field. One engine must take the fans. One must deliver the apples for the halftime break. And the other must collect the dirty washing from Maithwaite Station and take it to the laundry lady.
The engines wheezed happily.
Now I must hurry. Thomas, you will decide which engine does which job.
Emily was very excited.
Soccer is my favorite game. I always puff past the soccer field when the Sodor United team is playing. Did you know that the goalkeeper has a lucky pair of gloves?
Emily was so busy boasting, she didn't hear her friends.
I'll take the team to the soccer field.
I'll take the fans.
And I'll take the apples for halftime break.
Wait a minute! What am I going to do?
You can take the dirty washing, Emily.
Stinky washing? I know all about the Sodor United team. I wanted the most important job. Delivering the washing isn't the most important job.
Emily huffed huffily to a junction. She was cross.
I don't want to puff to Maithwaite to collect the stinky washing.
Then Emily saw Percy chuff across the bridge. He was on his way to Farmer McColl's farm to collect the apples.
Percy has a very important job. I'm sure I can help him.
So Emily didn't chuff to Maithwaite. She took the track to Farmer McColl's farm instead. Emily huffed her hardest to Farmer McColl's. Percy was being coupled up to the car of apples.
Hello, Percy. I'll help you. I'll be your back engine.
No, thank you, Emily. I'm fine.
But Emily wanted to help. So, Emily buffered up to the other end of the freight car. She began to pull.
Fizzling fireboxes!
But Percy was pulling the car from the other side. Then there was trouble. Emily pulled so hard that the coupling broke. The apple cart tumbled off the tracks. Apples bounced and rolled everywhere. Percy was cross.
I don't need your help, Emily. This is my job. Your job is to collect the washing.
Emily didn't want to collect the washing, so she steamed slowly away.
I want to help my team win the day. Picking up dirty washing won't help them play.
Emily clickety-clacked to a junction. Then Emily saw James. James had collected the Sodor United fans.
James has a very important job. I'm sure I can help him with that.
So Emily pumped her pistons. She had to puff to the junction before James.
James, stop! I can help you with your important job. I'll be your back engine. Then the fans will arrive more quickly.
But James was going too fast to stop.
Out of my way, Emily!
But Emily didn't chuff out of the way. James had to screech into a siding. His wheels whirred, and he bumped into the buffers. Luckily, no one was hurt, but James was cross.
Thank you, Emily. I don't need your help. This is my job. Your job is to collect the dirty washing.
This made Emily cross. She really didn't want to puff to Maithwaite to collect the washing. James steamed snootily away with the passenger cars of fans.
I want the most important job. I want to help my team win the day. Picking up dirty washing won't help them play.
Then, Thomas puffed past with Annie and Clarabelle. Thomas was going to collect the Sodor United soccer team.
Thomas has a very important job. I'm sure I can help him with that.
Emily pumped her pistons and wheeshed after Thomas. Emily chuffed into the town square. She screeched to a stop. The Sodor United soccer team was waiting, and Sir Topham Hatt was cross.
Emily, where are the team's clean soccer shirts and shorts?
Emily was puzzled. Then she gasped.
Fizzling fireboxes. The stinky washing was the team's soccer shirts and shorts.
Emily felt terrible.
I didn't take the washing to the laundry lady. Now the team have nothing to wear for the opening game. The game can't take place. And it's all my fault.
Emily felt very silly.
I thought that all the other jobs were more important than mine. Now I see that all jobs are important. I'm very sorry, sir. I'm very sorry, team.
Emily wheezed weakly.
Please, sir, I'll puff my hardest and make sure the team have clean soccer shirts and shorts in time for the opening game.
Emily collected the soccer shirts and shorts from Maithwaite Station. Then she huffed and puffed to Marin Station. The laundry lady quickly washed the clothes.
These shirts and shorts are soaking wet. They won't be dry in time for the opening game.
Emily was very worried. Then an idea flew into Emily's funnel.
Please tie the wet washing to my funnel. The washing can dry in the wind as I race to the town square.
Emily chuffed and puffed proudly along the tracks. The wet soccer shirts and shorts flapped and fluttered in the wind.
Now, the team will have clean washing for the game. My team will be clean and ready to play. Go Sodor United, the best team today! Hooray!
Everyone waved to Emily, and Emily tooted back. Emily huffed happily into the town square. She was just in time for the soccer game.
Here are your clean, dry soccer shirts and shorts.
The Sodor United soccer team cheered and clapped. Emily felt very important.
Good luck for the game. 2, 4, 6, 8. We're the team who won't be late. Sodor United!
Everyone laughed and laughed. And Emily blew her whistle loudest of all. Thomas's tall friend. The island of Sodor has many wonderful places to visit. Today was a special day. A new animal park was to be opened on Sodor. There were wide open spaces for the animals to live in. All the engines were very excited. Thomas puffed into Brendam docks. He beamed from buffer to buffer.
Good morning, Percy. Good morning, Thomas. Look at my special leaves to feed the animals.
I have rosy red apples for the animals.
And I am to take the mayor and Sir Topham Hatt to open the park.
Do you have a special, Thomas? I am to take the tallest animal on Sodor up to the animal park.
Percy and Edward gasped.
What is it, Thomas?
It's a giraffe.
All the engines wheezed with wonder. They had never seen a giraffe before.
Fizzling fireboxes, Mr. Giraffe. You are very tall.
Edward, Gordon, and Percy were puzzled.
Will he blow over?
Why is he so spotty?
Does he sit down? Of course he'll sit down.
You must wait for the giraffe keeper. The giraffe will do what his keeper tells him.
But Thomas didn't want to wait for the giraffe keeper. He wanted to show the children the tallest animal on Sodor.
Don't worry, Cranky. I'm sure Mr. Giraffe will do what I tell him.
And Thomas puffed proudly out of the docks. Thomas and the giraffe puffed happily along. Children waved and whooped, and Thomas's firebox fizzed with excitement. Thomas slowed as he puffed to a low bridge.
Sit down, Mr. Giraffe.
The giraffe didn't want to sit down. He wanted to see the sights of Sodor. Thomas wished. Then he heard a familiar whistle. It was Gordon. He was taking the mayor and Sir Topham Hatt to the animal park.
Out of the way! Express coming through!
I can't go under the bridge with Mr. Giraffe.
This made Gordon grumpy.
You must go back to the docks for the keeper. The giraffe will do what the keeper tells him.
No, thank you, Gordon. I'm sure Mr. Giraffe will do what I tell him.
So Gordon huffed huffily away. But Thomas didn't know how to make the giraffe sit down. Thomas saw some cows. They munched merrily, then lay lazily in the sun. Edward chuffed up. An idea flew into Thomas's funnel.
Edward, can Mr. Giraffe eat some of your apples?
Why, Thomas?
Because then he will feel sleepy and lie down.
Edward was puzzled, but he wanted to help his friend Thomas.
Thank you, Edward.
The giraffe liked Edward's rosy red apples. He liked them so much, he ate and ate and ate. And he didn't sit down. Edward was upset.
Bubbling boilers! You must go back to the docks for the keeper. The giraffe will do what the keeper tells him.
No, thank you, Edward. I'm sure Mr. Giraffe will do what I tell him.
But Thomas was worried. Sir Topham Hatt and the mayor would be waiting at the animal park. Then, Percy puffed past.
Hello, Thomas. What's the matter? Mr. Giraffe won't sit down. Can he eat some of your leaves? Then he's sure to want to lie down and sleep.
Percy was happy to help his best friend Thomas. The giraffe liked Percy's leaves. He thought they were a wonderful game. Leaves flittered and floated through the air until there were none left at all.
Cinders and ashes. I only wanted you to sit down, Mr. Giraffe.
Suddenly, the giraffe did sit down, and he closed his eyes.
Mr. Giraffe's asleep, Percy. We must steam straight to the animal park.
So, Thomas and Percy clickety-clacked along the track and under the bridge to the animal park. Then there was trouble. The mayor and Sir Topham Hatt were cross. They had waited a long time for the tallest animal on Sodor. But the tallest animal on Sodor was fast asleep.
Wake up, Mr. Giraffe, please!
But the giraffe slept on.
This is a disaster, Thomas.
Thomas felt terrible. There were no rosy red apples, no juicy leaves, and no wide-awake Mr. Giraffe.
I know, sir. It is a disaster. I should have waited for the giraffe keeper. I was silly to think Mr. Giraffe would do what I told him. I'll puff my hardest to the docks and bring the keeper here.
So Thomas pumped his pistons and raced away. The giraffe keeper was at the docks.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, sir. All aboard!
The giraffe was still asleep when Thomas puffed into the animal park.
I'm sure Mr. Giraffe will wake up now you're here, sir.
And then Thomas chuffed away. He had a lot to do. At Farmer McColl's farm, Thomas picked up more rosy red apples. And from the orchard, more juicy leaves. At last, Thomas puffed and shuffed and huffed back to the animal park. Everyone was cheering and clapping Sodor's tallest animal.
Mr. Giraffe, you're awake!
The giraffe heard Thomas's toot. He stretched his long neck up, 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 and then down to Thomas's face.
Welcome to Sodor, Mr. Giraffe.
Toby and the Whistling Woods. There had been a storm on the island of Sodor. The skies were still gray, and the clouds were still heavy, as the engines huffed and puffed. Toby was puffing proudly to Knapford Station. Sir Topham Hatt had a very special for him.
Toby, the Duke and Duchess of Boxford are arriving at tea time. They need coal to warm their house. You must deliver it right away.
Toby was very excited to be given such an important job. He had never delivered to the Duke and Duchess of Boxford's house before.
Right away, sir.
You must go through the Whistling Woods. The other track to the house is blocked. A tree fell across it in the storm.
Toby was worried. He had never taken the track through the Whistling Woods. He had always puffed along the other track.
I don't like the Whistling Woods. I think it's dark in there and full of strange noises.
But today, Toby would have to puff through the Whistling Woods. Toby chuffed up to Whistling Woods Junction. James and Thomas were there. They were shunting freight cars.
Hello, Toby.
But Toby didn't say hello to his friend Thomas. He was too busy looking at the Whistling Woods.
You look worried, Toby.
Toby was worried, but he wanted to be brave.
Hello, Thomas. I have to take this coal to the Duke and Duchess's house. I have to chuff through the Whistling Woods.
Then Toby's signal turned green. But he didn't chuff away. Thomas and James were puzzled.
Are you scared of the Whistling Woods, Toby?
Toby didn't want James to think he was a scaredy engine.
No, I'm not.
Thomas wanted to help his friend.
I can chuff through the woods with you, Toby.
Toby wanted Thomas's help, but he was an old engine.
Old engines can't be scaredy engines. I can't ask young engines for help.
So, Toby pumped his pistons.
No, thank you, Thomas. I don't need your help.
And Toby chuffed off into the Whistling Woods, all by himself. Toby's boiler jittered and juddered. The woods were very dark, and the trees looked very big. Toby wanted to be a brave engine, and not a scaredy engine.
I'm not scared of the Whistling Wood. I'll puff straight on, like Thomas would.
Suddenly, Toby heard a strange sound. It made his wheels wobble.
What was that?
Then, Toby heard the noise again.
Bust my buffers! These woods are too scary for me.
Toby huffed hard backwards out of the Whistling Woods, straight into the two freight cars James and Thomas had shunted. Thomas and James were surprised, and so was Toby.
Fizzling fireboxes! I'm sorry.
What happened, Toby? Were you scared?
I can puff through the woods with you, Toby.
Toby did want James's help, but he still thought old engines couldn't ask young ones for help.
No, thank you, James. I don't need your help.
So, Toby puffed back into the Whistling Woods, all by himself. Toby chuffed further and further.
I'm not scared of the Whistling Wood. I'll puff straight on, like Thomas would.
Then, he heard another strange noise.
Pumping pistons! What's that? These woods are far too scary.
So, Toby huffed his hardest out of the Whistling Woods. straight into the 4 freight cars James and Thomas had shunted. Toby was upset.
Trembling trucks! I'm sorry.
Once again, Thomas wanted to help his friend Toby.
Toby, let us help you puff through the woods.
We can puff through with you.
Toby really wanted James and Thomas's help, but he still thought old engines couldn't ask young ones for help.
No, thank you.
So, Toby puffed back into the whistling woods all by himself. He clickety-clacked along the track.
I'm not scared of the whistling wood. I'll puff straight on, like Thomas would.
Then, Toby heard the strangest noise of all.
Trembling trams! What's that noise?
Toby's boiler bubbled and his wheels wobbled. He pumped his pistons and raced back out of the woods, straight into the 6 freight cars Thomas and James had shunted. Toby felt terrible.
Oh, no! This is a disaster! I've spoilt your freight cars. The Duke and Duchess won't get their coal on time. And I'm an old and scaredy engine.
Toby looked at his friends. They weren't calling him a scaredy engine. Toby could see they were worried for him.
I'm sorry. I thought an old engine couldn't ask for help. But now I see that you're never too old to ask for help. Please, will you puff through the whistling woods with me?
Thomas and James were happy to help.
Of course, Toby. Follow us.
Soon, Toby's freight car was full of coal. Then, Toby followed James and Thomas into the whistling woods. Slowly, Toby, Thomas, and James chuffed and puffed along the track.
There's my friend, the snowy owl.
The snowy owl flew above their heads. It was sweet and fluffy.
Oh, my!
Toby couldn't believe he had been scared of the friendly owl. Then, Toby heard another noise.
What's that?
It's the woodland waterfall. Look!
The waterfall was wonderful. It tinkled and sparkled. It clattered and splattered on the stones.
Buffers and bumpers. That's beautiful.
Then, the engines heard a noise that was very, very strange.
What's that?
It's the wind whistling through the woods.
It's the whistling woods.
Toby smiled. He wasn't a scaredy engine anymore. He was very happy he had asked his friends for help.
I may be old, but now I'm happy.
And Toby smiled all the way to the Duke and Duchess's house. Pop goes Thomas. It was summer on the island of Sodor. Engines puffed and chuffed happily in the sunshine. The children were excited. Today was their summer picnic in the Whispering Woods. Thomas was excited too. He had a very special.
This is the lemonade for the school picnic, Thomas. You must take it to Whispering Woods Halt.
Yes, sir.
Thomas had never carried lemonade before. He puffed proudly out of Knapford Station. On the way, Thomas went over some bumpy track.
Fizzling fireboxes!
Rattle, rattle, shake, shake went the lemonade in Thomas's freight car. And then, pop went one of the corks. Thomas couldn't see what had made the popping sound.
Bust my buffers! That noise was very funny.
Thomas stopped at a junction.
The Whispering Woods halt is straight ahead. But if I take the left track, it's bumpier. Maybe then I'll hear the funny popping noise again. I'd like that.
So, Thomas took the left track. The track was very bumpy.
Whoa! If I bounce along the track, perhaps that sound will soon come back. The sound that makes me smile and giggle when I puff on tracks that jiggle.
Rattle, rattle, shake, shake, wobble the lemonade. Pop, 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 burst the corks.
That sound makes me very happy.
Then Thomas saw Mr. Bubbles the clown. He was going to the school picnic too.
Hello, Mr. Bubbles. Isn't this the funniest noise you've heard?
A popping cork hit Mr. Bubbles. It knocked his big red nose off. But Thomas didn't know he'd knocked off Mr. Bubbles' red nose. He was too busy thinking about the next bit of bumpy track.
That was fun. I know where there is some even bumpier track ahead. That means more funny popping.
This track was very bumpy indeed.
If I bounce along the track, perhaps that sound will soon come back. The sound that makes me smile and giggle when I puff on tracks that jiggle.
Rattle, rattle, shake, shake, wobbled the lemonade. Pop, 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 ping the corks. Right into a field of pigs. The pigs were surprised as corks dropped and plopped into the mud around them.
What a jolly noise!
Then Thomas saw some bakers. They were waiting outside the bakery. They were waiting for Emily. Emily was coming to pick up the cakes for the picnic.
Isn't this the funniest noise you've heard?
Popping corks hit the bakers and the cakes. All the cakes were spoiled. But Thomas still didn't notice. He was too busy thinking about the next bit of bumpy track.
If I take this track, it will be the bumpiest track on the whole of Sodor. If I bounce along the track, perhaps that sound will soon come back. The sound that makes me smile and giggle when I puff on tracks that jiggle.
Rattle, rattle, shake, shake, jiggled the lemonade. Pop, 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 pop the corks. Then Thomas saw James. James was taking the children to the picnic.
Hello, James. Isn't this noise the funniest noise you've heard?
But James didn't think it was funny at all when a cork bounced off his shiny red paint.
Flatten my funnel! What was that?
Then there was trouble. The popping corks hit the signalman. He was so surprised, he pulled the wrong lever. The tracks changed. James was sent into a siding. James bumped the buffers. Luckily, no one was hurt. But still, Thomas didn't notice. He was having a wonderful time. At last, Thomas arrived at Whispering Woods Halt. Sir Topham Hatt wasn't happy.
Thomas, you have caused confusion and delay. Mr. Bubbles has lost his nose. Now he will be late. When Emily arrived to pick up the cakes, they were spoiled. James has bumped the buffers, and the bottles in your freight car have lost their corks. The lemonade is all gone.
Suddenly, the very last cork popped and knocked Sir Topham Hatt's hat right off his head. Sir Topham Hatt was surprised. Thomas gasped.
Cinders and ashes. The funny popping sound that made me laugh must have been the corks. This is all my fault, sir.
Thomas felt terrible. Now the children couldn't have their picnic.
I could put this right, sir.
Thomas pumped his pistons and chuffed quickly away. First, Thomas puffed to the bakery. The bakers had baked more cakes, and they were loaded onto Thomas's freight cars. Then, Thomas chuffed to Knapford for more lemonade. He saw Mr. Bubbles. Mr. Bubbles had bought a new red nose.
I'm sorry about your nose, sir. And I'm sorry I made you late. Now, may I take you to the picnic?
That's a splendid idea, Thomas.
Soon, Thomas was steaming back to Whispering Woods Halt. On the way, Thomas told Mr. Bubbles all about the popping corks.
They made a very funny sound. It made me laugh. It made me happy.
Soon, Thomas, you will hear a sound that makes you feel even happier.
Thomas was puzzled. This time at the junction, Thomas took the flat track straight to Whispering Woods Halt. Thomas arrived at Whispering Woods Halt just in time. Not one of the corks had popped. The children saw Thomas had brought Mr. Bubbles and the cakes. Thomas listened to the children, laughing and cheering.
Now, Thomas, that is the happiest sound of all.
You're right, Mr. Bubbles.
And Thomas laughed loudest of all. Thomas and the Snowman party. It was a snowy winter's day on the island of Sodor. The children were busy building the biggest snowman on Sodor. All the engines wanted to help the children. They were very excited. Thomas whooshed into the town square. Thomas's best friend Percy was there. So was James. Percy was smiling.
Hello, Percy. You look happy.
There's going to be a snowman party, Thomas. Farmer McCall's sheepdog will hunt the hat.
The brass band will play.
And Mr. Bubbles the clown is going to do magic hat tricks.
Thomas's firebox fizzed.
That will be fun.
Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived.
There is a lot to do for the snowman party. You are all to huff your hardest. Percy, you will collect cupcakes from the bakery.
Right away, sir.
James, you must collect the special guests from Brendam Docks.
Yes, sir.
And Thomas, you are to pick up an important package from Knapford Station.
Thomas pumped his pistons proudly. Then he saw that the children looked sad.
Our snowman has a carrot for a nose, coal for his eyes and mouth, and a brightly colored scarf. But he doesn't have a hat.
Thomas didn't want the children to be sad. Thomas wanted to help the children.
Don't worry. I'll find a hat for your snowman.
So Thomas didn't go to Knapford Station to pick up the important package. He chuffed cheerfully away to find a hat. Thomas clickety-clacked along the track.
I'll look and find a hat. The children will be pleased with that.
Thomas puffed past Farmer McCall's farm. Suddenly, he huffed to a halt. There was a big brown hat on a hay bale. Thomas's boiler bubbled with excitement.
This would be a very good hat for the children's snowman. That would make them happy.
So Thomas's driver put the big brown hat into Thomas's cab. And Thomas huffed happily away. Thomas clattered along the track.
I found a hat! I found a hat! The children will be pleased with that.
And Thomas wheeshed on to pick up the important package. On his way to Knapford, Thomas chuffed through Marin Station. Suddenly, he screeched to a stop. There was another big hat on the platform bench. Thomas smiled from footplate to fender.
This hat is even bigger than the big brown hat. It will make the children even happier.
So, Thomas's driver put the big hat in Thomas's cab.
I found a bigger, better hat. The children will be pleased with that.
And Thomas puffed perkily away to pick up the important package. On his way to Knapford, Thomas steamed through Maithwaite Station. Suddenly he stopped. There was a very big hat, sitting on some suitcases. It was blue and green and red and purple. It was the most colorful hat Thomas had ever seen. It was also the biggest.
This hat would make the children happiest of all.
So Thomas's driver put the big colorful hat into Thomas's cab.
I found the biggest, brightest hat. The children will be pleased with that.
And Thomas wheeshed away to pick up the important package. Then Thomas chuffed to a junction. Toby was there. Toby was worried.
The children have finished building their snowman, but they still don't have a hat for him.
Thomas gasped.
I have a hat for the children's snowman. I'll take it to them right away.
Thomas pumped his pistons and raced to the town square.
Hello, Percy. Hello, James.
Percy and James looked sad.
Farmer McCall has lost his big brown hat. Now his sheepdog can't hunt the hat.
The brass band haven't arrived. They're looking for the conductor's big hat.
And Mr. Bubbles has lost his blue, red, green, and purple hat. Now he can't do any magic hat tricks.
Thomas felt terrible.
Cinders and ashes. I have all those hats in my cab.
Percy and James were surprised.
I wanted to help the children. I wanted to find a hat for their snowman. I wanted to make them happy.
Then Sir Topham had arrived.
Where is my important package, Thomas?
I'm sorry, sir. Your important package is still at Knapford Station. I was trying to find a hat for the children's snowman. Now you don't have your package, and I have spoiled the children's fun.
Sir Topham Hatt looked cross.
I'm sure I can put this right, sir.
Very well, Thomas.
So Thomas raced away as fast as his wheels could whir. Thomas puffed into Knapford Station. Sir Topham Hatt's important package was put into his cab, and Thomas raced quickly away. Next, Thomas wheeshed to Farmer McColl's farm. Farmer McColl and his sheepdog were looking for his big brown hat.
I have your hat, sir. The children are waiting for you at the snowman party.
So Farmer McColl and his sheepdog jumped into Annie, and Thomas steamed swiftly away. Then Thomas puffed to Marin Station. The brass band were still looking for the conductor's hat.
I have your hat, sir. All aboard for the town square and the snowman party.
So the conductor and the brass band climbed into Annie and Clarabelle. And Thomas raced off. Thomas hurried to Maithwaite Station. Mr. Bubbles had been looking for his magic hat everywhere.
I have your hat, sir.
Hooray, Thomas! Now I can come to the party and do my magic tricks.
So Mr. Bubbles bounced on board, and Thomas raced like the wind back to the town square and the children's snowman. Thomas chuffed into the town square. His axles ached, and his cheeks were rosy red.
Here I am, sir. I have Farmer McCall and his sheepdog, the brass band, Mr. Bubbles, and your important package.
Very good, Thomas.
Sir Topham Hatt opened his important package. Inside was a brand new top hat.
Excellent, Thomas. Just what I needed. And this, children, may be just what you need. A hat for your snowman.
The children cheered, and Thomas beamed from buffer to buffer. This was the grandest snowman on Sodor. Henry's Magic Box. The winter holidays are a very special time on Sodor. There are twinkling lights and snowy nights, and there are lots of surprises of all sorts and sizes. One morning, Henry was alone at Tidmouth Sheds. All the other engines were busy. Henry didn't want to be alone. He wanted to be busy like the other engines. Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived. Henry was happy to see him.
Good morning, sir.
Henry, I have a very special for you.
Henry gasped. This was more than he could ever have dreamed of.
Yes, sir. Ready to be really useful, sir.
Henry, you must pick up a very special box from Brendam Docks. Next, you must take the box to Farmer McCall's field. Then, you must go and tell all the other engines to come to Farmer McCall's field at tea time. It's important, Henry, that you take great care of the box. I want to be proud of you.
Henry wished steam. He was excited to have such an important job.
Of course, sir. I will take the best care of the box.
Then Sir Topham Hatt left. Henry pumped his pistons and puffed proudly to Brendam Docks. Henry chuffed into Brendam Docks.
This box is special, Henry. You have to take special care of it.
I know, Cranky. That's why Sir Topham Hatt chose me for the job.
And Henry chuffed cheerfully away to Farmer McCall's. Henry huffed in with his very special.
Please be careful with the box.
Henry was worried for his box. It stood all alone. But he had to go and tell the other engines to come to the field at tea time.
I must hurry.
Henry huffed along. He saw Gordon ahead at the junction. But Henry didn't puff on to tell Gordon to be at the field at tea time. Henry was worried about his box alone in the field.
First, I must go and check that my special box is safe.
So, Henry hurried back to the field. Henry heaved to a stop. Then he gasped. Now, there were 5 Christmas trees in the field, but no box.
Fizzling fireboxes! Sir Topham Hatt won't be proud of me now. He will be cross. I must find the box.
Henry steamed swiftly away. Then, Henry met Toby and James at a junction. Henry was too busy looking for the box to notice them.
Hello, Henry.
You look wobbly with worry.
But Henry wasn't listening. He didn't tell Toby and James to be at the field at tea time. There was no box to see. Henry had to find it. Henry huffed hurriedly back to the field. Then his pistons almost popped.
Bust my buffers! Now there are even more Christmas trees, but my very special box is still gone. I must find it.
Henry juddered and jittered to the junction.
Hello, Henry. Emily told us Sir Topham Hatt has given you a very special.
Henry gulped and gasped. He didn't tell Thomas and Percy to be at the field at tea time. There was no box for them to see.
I must hurry.
And Henry raced away. Henry looked everywhere for his box. In fields and fenlands, sidings and stations. He couldn't find the box anywhere. Henry steamed sadly back to the field. Then he gasped.
The empty field is now a forest of Christmas trees, and my special box still isn't here.
Henry, I asked you to do a special job. You haven't done it. It's almost tea time, and the other engines aren't here.
Henry wished weakly. His firebox flickered.
I'm sorry, sir. I've let you down. I haven't looked after the very special box. It has disappeared. I haven't told any of the engines to be here, and you won't be proud of me.
Sir Topham Hatt sighed.
Henry, you are an old and kind engine, but you worry too much. Where do you think the forest came from?
Henry wheezed steam and bubbled his boiler. He really wanted to find the answer. He didn't want Sir Topham Hatt to think he was silly. Then the answer flew into his funnel.
The trees were in the box, sir. That's why the box isn't here, and the Christmas trees are.
That's right, Henry. You looked after the box very well. Now, go and do the rest of your job.
Henry smiled from buffer to buffer.
Yes, sir. We'll all be here at tea time.
And Henry pumped his pistons and chuffed cheerfully away. First, Henry found Gordon and Emily.
Sir Topham Hatt wants you to go straight to Farmer McCall's field. Hurry, please. No time to waste.
Next, Henry steamed to Tidmouth Sheds. Thomas, Percy, and Edward were there.
Sir Topham Hatt wants you to go straight to Farmer McCall's field. Hurry, please. No time to rest.
Henry puffed into Knapford Station. His cheeks were as red as James's paintwork. James was talking to the station master.
Sir Topham Hatt wants you to go straight to Farmer McCall's field. Hurry, please, James. No time to talk.
At last, Henry found Toby at the water tower.
Sir Topham Hatt wants you to go straight to Farmer McCall's field. Hurry, please, Toby. No time to take on water.
And Henry wheezed away. He felt a very happy engine. Henry arrived back at Farmer McCall's field, just in time for tea time. All the other engines were there, but Sir Topham Hatt wasn't. Henry felt silly. Again.
I'm sorry, everyone. I thought Sir Topham Hatt was going to be here. Perhaps I was wrong.
Suddenly, the Christmas trees were a forest of twinkling lights. Red, blue, green, yellow, sparkling in the darkness. The engines gasped in surprise.
Fizzling fireboxes.
This is wonderful.
Then, there was the greatest surprise of all. Sir Topham Hatt stepped through the trees. He looked just like Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy winter holidays to all my really useful engines!
Henry's eyes popped as wide as his wheels. This had been the best winter holiday special of all. Thomas and Scruff. On the island of Sodor, all the engines are busy engines. But some have special jobs. Percy pulls the mail cars. Gordon pulls the express. Thomas has his branch line. And Whiff works at the garbage dump. One morning, as Whiff was biffing and bashing garbage cars, Thomas chuffed cheerfully into Whiff's garbage dump.
Good morning, Whiff. You look busy.
I am, Thomas. I can't stop to talk. I have to puff round the island to pick up more cars. Then I have to shunt them back here, and it must all be tidied away by tea time. Sir Topham Hatt said so.
Thomas smiled. He had good news for his friend.
Don't worry, Whiff. When you puff back, you will have a helper. His name is Scruff the Scruncher. I'm going to pick him up at Brendam Docks now.
Whiff wheezed with excitement.
Are you sure? A helper? For me? That's right, Whiff. Just for you.
And Thomas huffed happily away to Brendam Docks. At Brendam Docks, Scruff the Scruncher was waiting for Thomas.
Hello, Scruff. I'm Thomas.
Hello, Thomas.
Scruff was small, square, and very scruffy. Thomas liked Scruff, but he was worried. Really useful engines couldn't be really dirty ones. An idea flew into Thomas's funnel.
Before I take you to Whiff's garbage dump, I'm going to bring you a welcome to Sodor surprise. Wait here.
Scruff was puzzled.
If you say so, Thomas.
And Thomas steamed swiftly away. Thomas collected a flatbed full of buckets and brushes, soap suds and sponges.
Being clean is being really useful. Whiff will be happy to see Scruff shine and gleam.
And Thomas chuffed cheerfully back to Brendam Docks. Thomas whooshed into the docks.
Here you are, Scruff. You're welcome to Sodor surprise. With a splosh and a splash, you'll be clean in a dash.
Scruff gasped. He'd never seen soap suds. And he'd never seen brushes. They looked very scary. They looked too scary.
Bye, Thomas.
And with a clickety-clack, Scruff whooshed away down the track and was gone. Thomas was surprised.
Fizzling fireboxes. Scruff's scared of being clean. I must puff after him as fast as my pistons will pump.
Scruff rattled and raced down the track. Thomas puffed and pounded after him.
Stop! Scruff!
But Scruff didn't stop. He slipped down a siding and disappeared. Thomas huffed to a halt. He peered down the siding. There was no sign of Scruff. Then Thomas saw a little puff of steam. Scruff had hidden himself behind the bushes.
Scruff? Hello?
But Scruff didn't answer, and he didn't come out. Just then, Gordon chuffed grandly by with the express.
What are you doing, Thomas?
Scruff the Scruncher is hiding because he doesn't want to be cleaned. Can you help me? Can you think of something to bring Scruff out of his hiding place?
I know. Scruff, it's Gordon here. Would you like to see my express carriages? They're the grandest on the island.
Thomas and Gordon waited, but Scruff didn't whoosh, and Scruff didn't wheesh. He didn't do anything at all.
Oh, dear. Thank you, Gordon. I don't think Scruff wants to see your express.
Oh, the indignity.
Gordon puffed huffily away. Then Henry rolled by.
Hello, Thomas. What are you doing? Scruff the Scruncher is hiding because he doesn't want to be cleaned. You're old and wise. can you think of something to bring Scruff out of his hiding place?
I think I have a very good idea. Scruff! Hello! It's Henry, the green engine here. I wonder whether you might like to come with me to get my special coal.
Thomas and Henry waited. But Scruff didn't whoosh, and Scruff didn't wheesh. He didn't do anything at all.
Bust my buffers. Thank you, Henry. I don't think Scruff wants to see your special coal.
What a shame. Maybe another day.
And Henry steamed sweetly away. Next, Percy puffed perkily by.
Hello, Thomas. What are you doing?
Scruff the Scruncher is hiding because he doesn't want to be cleaned. Can you help me? Can you think of something to bring Scruff out of his hiding place?
I know. Hello, Scruff. I'm Percy. I pull the mail cars. They're red, and they're wooden, and they're full of very exciting parcels. Would you like to come with me?
Thomas and Percy waited. But Scruff didn't whoosh, and Scruff didn't wheesh. He didn't do anything at all.
Flatten my funnel, Percy. What am I going to do?
I don't know, Thomas. But I have to go. I'm late with the mail.
Just then, Whiff whirred down the track, pulling a long train of garbage cars. He smiled when he saw Thomas.
Hello, Thomas. I'm really looking forward to having Scruff to help me. He'll enjoy biffing and bashing all this garbage.
And Whiff wobbled away. Thomas felt terrible.
Cinders and ashes. I promised Whiff a helper. Now I've scared him away. Oh, because I thought that to be really useful, he had to be really clean. And all Scruff really wants to do is scrunch garbage.
Suddenly, an idea popped into Thomas's pistons.
Of course! I know what to do.
Thomas's axles tingled and tinkled.
Scruff, there are lots of garbage cars waiting for you to scrunch. Would you like me to show you them?
Suddenly, Scruff whooshed out of hiding and onto the track. Scruff was ready and raring to go. First, Thomas and Scruff picked up garbage at the Sodor steamworks. Next, they rattled to Knapford Station for another garbage car. And then, Thomas and Scruff steamed to the quarry. At last, Thomas and Scruff rattled into Whiff's garbage dump.
Well done, Scruff!
Then, Whiff wheeshed in.
Trembling tracks! You must be Scruff! And look how really useful you are already.
Scruff was scruffier, but happier than ever.
Pleased to be here, Whiff. Let's get scrunching!
So Whiff and Scruff biffed and bashed. They crashed and smashed. And Thomas laughed until his wheels wobbled. Charlie and Eddie. On the island of Sodor, all the engines are proud to work for Sir Topham Hatt's railway. They chuff and puff, and heave and haul their hardest to make sure Sir Topham Hatt is proud of them. One morning, Sir Topham Hatt's car had broken down. Edward was to take the car to Marin Station. The mechanic was waiting there to fix it. Edward was proud to help Sir Topham Hatt. Just then, Charlie chuffed cheerily in.
Good morning, Charlie.
Hello, Edward. You want to hear a good joke? Where do crocodiles keep their money?
I don't know.
In a riverbank.
But Edward didn't laugh. He didn't even smile.
I have an important job to do. I have to take Sir Topham Hatt's car to Marin Station to be fixed. He needs it this evening. I must hurry.
Charlie sighed.
You know, Edward, maybe you're too old to be fun.
Edward stopped. He didn't like being told that he was too old to be fun. He thought he was as much fun as any young engine.
I can be a lot of fun, Charlie.
Then show me.
Edward huffed and puffed. He knew he should chuff carefully to Marin Station with Sir Topham Hatt's car. But he also knew Charlie wouldn't think that was fun. So, Edward decided not to take the careful track.
Follow me, Charlie. I'll take you on the bumpiest and jumpiest, the twistiest and turniest tracks to Marin Station. Then you'll see just how much fun I can be.
I'm ready, Eddie.
So Edward puffed away to Marin Station, with Charlie chuffing close behind. First, Edward and Charlie clickety-clacked along the bumpiest tracks. They jiggled and joggled, and they bumped and they jumped.
Whee! This is fun.
Next, Edward and Charlie rattled round some of the bendiest bends.
Fizzling fireboxes! I didn't think you'd be this much fun, Edward!
This made Edward happy. Edward and Charlie rocked and they rolled. They giggled and jiggled, and they told jokes.
Okay, Charlie, I have a joke for you. How do you know when an engine is eating?
I don't know, Eddie. Tell me.
You hear it chewing.
That's a good one, Eddie. You really are the most fun of all.
At last, Edward and Charlie puffed into Marin Station. Thomas was there, but there was no mechanic on the platform.
Hello, Edward. The mechanic was waiting for you. Now he's left on Bertie the bus.
Suddenly, Edward was worried.
Oh, my. I spent too much time on the bumpy and bendy tracks having fun.
Charlie sighed.
Is that as much fun as you could be, Edward?
Edward didn't like that.
No! I can be much more fun than that. We'll chase Bertie the bus to catch up with the mechanic.
Good idea! I'm ready, Eddie!
So, Edward and Charlie pumped their pistons and chuffed off for the chase. Edward and Charlie raced and chased after Bertie the bus. They thundered through crossings. They flew over bridges. And they clattered through tunnels. But Edward and Charlie couldn't catch up with Bertie.
Flat my funnel, that was fun!
Now, Edward was even more worried. He had not done his job. Sir Topham Hatt would be cross.
I think we should stop at the next junction. Then we can ask the signalman to send a message to the mechanic.
I was right. You are too old to be fun.
Edward didn't like that. Then, an idea flew into his funnel.
We'll take Sir Topham Hatt's car to the steamworks to be fixed. It's always fun there.
Charlie was surprised.
Bubbling boilers, Edward! That will be the most fun of all! I'm ready, Eddie!
So, Charlie and Edward puffed off to the steamworks. Charlie and Edward steamed in.
Hello, Kevin. Where's Victor?
Hello, Edward. Victor has gone to pick up a part. Can I help?
I'd like you to fix Sir Topham Hatt's car.
Kevin was surprised.
Sling my hook. We don't fix cars.
I'm sure you can. We will be back later to pick up the car.
Edward, you're not too old to have fun. You're the most fun of all.
That made Edward very happy. Later, Charlie and Edward returned. Kevin was very excited.
Here you are, Edward.
Kevin trundled to one side. He giggled giddily. There was Sir Topham Hatt's car with a funnel on its roof.
It's a fun funnel!
Edward gasped. Just then, Sir Topham Hatt arrived. He didn't think the funnel was fun at all.
Edward, what have you done to my car?
Edward felt terrible.
I'm sorry, sir. I was trying to be really useful and really fun. But it has all gone wrong. This is a disaster. I wish I had just been really useful.
So do I, Edward.
Please, sir. I can take you and Lady Hatt this evening. Then, tomorrow morning, your car will be fixed.
Very well, Edward.
Edward had puffed into Knapford Station with Sir Topham and Lady Hatt. Charlie was there.
Hello, Eddie. I'm ready for more fun.
Not now, Charlie. It's not the time for fun. It's the time to be really useful. I have to hurry to the steamworks.
Edward puffed into the steamworks. Charlie chuffed close behind.
Would you like to hear another joke, Edward?
No, thank you, Charlie. This isn't the time for jokes. I have to collect Sir Topham Hatt's car. Kevin, please take the funnel off Sir Topham Hatt's car. It was fun, but it wasn't really useful.
Right, boss. Edward, whatever you say.
Thank you, Kevin.
Later, Edward puffed out of the steamworks with Sir Topham Hatt's car. It was as good as new and funnel-free. All along the track, as Edward clickety-clacked, children whistled and waved.
This is fun.
And Charlie had to agree.